Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm your brother Abu Talha Dhahak. Welcome all of you. I recently made a video on Qatar crisis in Urdu language for my Urdu speaking friends from India, Pakistan and other places. So my non-Urdu speaking friends, especially from Philippines and other Arab nationalities and my UK based friends, they requested me to make a video in English as well on this topic. So I will not be going in much details, and I will be summarizing what I told in my Urdu version video. So the main reason why Saudi has put the ban on Qatar, as per the news reports and as per the media, what the Arab media have quoted, is that for three major reasons Saudi has picked up a bone with Qatar, and not only Saudi but other Arab nations, GCC nations like UAE and Jordan, Bahrain, Kuwait, and all these countries have also taken up rivalry against Qatar, and they have seriously put all the bans on Qatar, and they want their conditions to be met, and they want Qatar to meet their conditions and to accept their conditions. So three major reasons are seen. The first reason is Ikhwan al-Muslimin, Muslim Brotherhood, and the second reason is Hamas, and the third reason is Iran. So Qatar is accused of supporting, sympathizing, backing, and aiding these three groups. So we will go by what Sheikh Suleiman Ruhaili Hafizahullah recently tweeted. He tweeted that we as laymen who are not from the political background, who are not into politics, we are not supposed to revile any Muslim ruler. So in Qatar and in Saudi and in UAE and in all other GCC nations, all are Muslims and all are brothers. So we will not be reviling any of these rulers, but we will go by whatever the decisions the rulers take. And he also says that we will hate and we will expose Ikhwan al-Muslimin, Hamas, and other Iranian groups. So this is what he said. So we will go by what Sheikh Suleiman Ruhaili said. Now let's come to the topic. Let's come to the point, the whole bone of contention here, for which Saudi has picked up such a serious fight with Qatar, is that the first thing is Ikhwan al-Muslimin. So Ikhwan al-Muslimin, it was formed in Egypt, in Misr, in Egypt. It was formed long back. And Sayyid Qutb and Hassan al-Banna are one of the major figures of Ikhwan al-Muslimin. And Sayyid Qutb was a very close friend of Nawab Safawi. And Nawab Safawi, he had an assassin group called as Fidain Islam in Iran. And he had three major divisions in Fidain Islam. The first division was a think tank group, and the second was of students group, and the third was of militant group. So he was a very close friend of Sayyid Qutb, and in fact in many of the writings of Sayyid Qutb, he wrote against Sahaba. He wrote against the people who revolted against Uthman. He wrote in the favor of the people who fought Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So in his book Qutb Shakhsiyat, he writes about Muawiyah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He says that Muawiyah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he ran his government based on bribery, lies, and deception. And he also spoke against Amr bin al-As radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So Sayyid Qutb had a very strong inclination towards Shia faith and in the Iranian regime, and he admired Iranian figures and the Shia figures. So he had a very close friendship with Nawab Safawi. And Hassan al-Banna, he was a very staunch Sufi. He belonged to the Hasafiya Sufi order. So these people were the main figureheads of Ikhwan al-Muslimin, who designed and who made the pattern of Ikhwan al-Muslimin. And in fact, Ikhwan al-Muslimin works on the same pattern of Fidain Islam. They have a think tank group and a students group and a militant group. And in fact, the same pattern was followed by Maulana Maududi of India when he formed Jamaat Islami Hind and Jamaat Islami Pakistan. When he made these two groups, he also followed the same pattern. And in fact, the people of Jamaat Islami, they have a very strong inclination towards Iran, and they hate Saudi to the core. They hate Saudi to the core, and every time when the matter comes to support Saudi, they don't support Saudi. Instead, they support Iran and they stand in favor of Iran. Many times it happened that when Iran and Iraq war took place, they sided with Iran. And when Iraq and Kuwait war took place, they sided with Iraq. And when Saudi intervened in Yemen, so Jamaat Islami in Pakistan, they raised a voice in the parliament that our army, Pakistan's army, is not is not for rent that our army go in Yemen and they fight for Saudis. So they have always objected Saudi and Saudi policy, and they have always hated Saudi. And to the common people, Jamaat Islami and Ikhwan al-Muslimin, they say that Saudi is not based on Islamic principles because Saudi has kingship and monarchy, and kingship and monarchy is not allowed in Islam. It is forbidden in Islam. It is not permissible. This is what they say. And they also raise objection against Saudi, that Saudi has a very strong relations with the United States, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden in the Quran to make friendship with the Jews and the Christians. So these are two major objections Jamaat Islami and Ikhwan al-Muslimin make against Saudi. But when it came to Qatar, even Qatar has monarchy, even Qatar has one of the major US bases, right? One of the biggest US bases in the Middle East, Qatar. But despite the fact, they make the principles against the Saudi. The Saudi has US bases, Saudi has monarchy, Saudi has kingship. So they make allegations against Saudi, but they side and they support Qatar. We have seen this on the social media now, that they support Qatar, they sympathize with Qatar, they run the hashtags, I stand with Qatar. Despite the fact that Qatar has monarchy and Qatar has one of the biggest US bases in the Middle East. So they don't stand by their principles. They don't go by their principles. They make the principles and they break the principles. So they don't have any particular rule or principle they follow, but they are like, they run with the hare and they hunt with the hound. So they don't have any usul. They don't have any rules. So they make the rules, they break the rules. So Ikhwan al-Muslimin have always been found supporting and aiding and sympathizing Iran and hating Saudi, inciting people against Saudi and spreading material and writings against Saudi. And I have witnessed this even in India. The offshoot of Ikhwan al-Muslimin, Jamaat Islami, they have been doing this a lot in India and Pakistan. The second issue is the supporting of Hamas. And we know that in Palestine we have two groups, Al-Fatah and Al-Hamas. So Al-Fatah is supported and aided by Saudi. All the major fundings which go for the development of Palestine, the construction of masajid, the construction of houses, and recently Saudi spent billions and billions of dollars in construction and rebuilding of Palestine, alhamdulillah. So they sent billions of dollars for the construction of hospitals, houses, schools, and masajid in Palestine, in Gaza, and in the West Bank. So Saudi has been very supportive towards Palestinian cause in Palestine through Al-Fatah. And Al-Hamas, the Ismail Haniyas Al-Hamas, it is supported and aided by Iran and Hezbollah. In fact, Hezbollah train Hamas. So they get the funding from Iran and Hezbollah. And their main headquarters are now in Tehran, and they frequently travel to Qatar. So this is one of the major reasons why Saudi wants Qatar to put a ban on Hamas. And in fact, when Sheikh Muqbil rahimahullah, he was asked about Hamas, he said that Hamas has Hizbiyun, that means sectarian people, and Hamas has Shia, and Hamas has Ikhwanis. And if they get power, they will do what they did in Afghanistan. Sheikh Muqbil said that if Hamas gets power, if Ikhwan al-Muslimin gets power, they will do what they did in Afghanistan. So what exactly they did in Afghanistan, we all have witnessed this. When Jamilur Rahman Afghani, when he formed an Islamic government in Kannur with the support of Saudi, and he fought against the Russians and the Soviets, and alhamdulillah he formed an Islamic government in Kannur. So he had a routine that every day when people would come to meet him, the delegates, he would only frisk the non-Muslims. He would not frisk the Muslims. So this was his routine. So an Ikhwani from Egypt, he came in, and Jamilur Rahman Afghani rahimahullah, he said that don't frisk him, don't check him, let him come inside. So he came inside, he sat face to face, he took out his pistol, his pistol, and he shot 3 bullets in his head, in Jamilur Rahman Afghani's head. So this is what Sheikh Muqbil said, that if Hamas and these groups, Ikhwan al-Muslimin, if they get power, they will do what they did in Afghanistan by turning the weapons against the Muslims. And in fact, we have seen this. When Morsi came in power in Egypt, when Ikhwan al-Muslimin was formed, and when Khomeini won the revolution in Iran, Khomeini said that our revolution will now go to Egypt through Ikhwan al-Muslimin. He said that our revolution will now go to Egypt through Ikhwan al-Muslimin. And seeing this danger, Anwar Sadat of that time, he banned Ikhwan al-Muslimin. Hosni Mubarak, he banned Ikhwan al-Muslimin. And in fact, there was no connection to Iran from Egypt. But when Mursi came in power, he opened all the routes to Iran. And in the history of Egypt, after 40 years or so, first flight flew from Cairo to Tehran. First flight flew from Cairo to Tehran. And in fact, Mursi made the statements that now this movement of Ikhwan al-Muslimin and the revolution through which we have won the elections here in Egypt, now this movement will go to Mecca and Medina. So in fact, he had a very evil eye on Mecca and Medina. He had a very dangerous plans for Mecca and Medina. So he made this statement that our revolution and our movement will now go to Mecca and Medina. And alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has foiled his plot, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala failed him. And in fact, he came to revolution, he failed to revolution. He was taken down from the power to revolution. Anisur Rahman Azmi, Hafizahullah, from India, he was the royal guest this year in Hajj. He was a royal guest. He was the guest of King Salman for Hajj this year. Alhamdulillah, he's a very honorable man. Sheikh Anisur Rahman Azmi, very humble, very honorable, mashallah. So Sheikh Anisur Rahman Azmi, he said that Hamas fires rockets, Iranian-made rockets and missiles towards Israel. Okay, and Israel, in return, in retaliation, throws all the phosphorus bombs and barrel bombs and all the strong bombs on the innocent Sunni Palestinian population. So in retaliation, Israel attacks all the Sunni population, and the preemptive attack is made by Hamas towards the Israel. So we don't know, what kind of lobby is going on there. Wallahu alam, we don't know about this. Yusuf al-Qaradawi also stays in Qatar. He has been taken as a refugee in Qatar. So Yusuf al-Qaradawi, he was the one who praised Hezbollah. He was the one who met the figureheads of Hezbollah. He was the one who was sympathizing and praising Hezbollah of Iran. And we have all seen what these groups, IRGC, Hezbollah, and Hezbollah Shaitan, Hezbollah, all these groups, we have seen what they did in Syria, in Halab, in Syria, by killing the innocent people, innocent children, and innocent women, children, and men. So we have all seen what these people are up to, and we don't need any kind of explanation what Iranian groups are up to. Iran has caused a great mayhem in Iraq, in Syria, in Bahrain, in Yemen, and in different places. And in fact, it's the responsibility of Saudi to secure all the borders of the Saudi peninsula, because Saudi is now endangered from all the places, from north, from south, from east, and from west. And it's the responsibility of the Saudi ruler to support his country, to secure his borders, because Saudi is the place where millions of people come for work. And Saudi is the place where we have Mecca and Medina. People come for the pilgrimage every year. And Saudi is the place where millions of expatriates work and run their houses. So due to the fact that Ikhwan al-Muslimin's intentions are not good towards Saudi and the Arab nations, they want the Arab nations to have revolutions and demonstrations and protests, and they want people to come out of their houses to do protests, to fight the authorities, to confront the authorities, and they want people to get killed. So this is what they want, and they have done this in Egypt, in Libya, in Syria, in different places. And we have seen the result of the Arab Spring, the so-called Arab Spring, which was in fact the blood spring. We have seen what exactly happened. And when Ikhwan al-Muslimin was banned in Saudi, I remember I was seated in Sheikh Mohammed bin Ramzan's class, Monday's class, and Sheikh Mohammed bin Ramzan al-Hajri said that in my 60 years of age, I have seen this prestigious moment that Saudi government has banned Ikhwan al-Muslimin. I'm quite happy about this. So alhamdulillah, Saudi has banned Ikhwan al-Muslimin and Hamas and all these groups. And Saudi demands that all its neighbors should also take these steps in banning these terrorist organizations and the terrorist figureheads, So they want the Saudi and other Arab nations want even Qatar to do this so that they can secure their borders, and they can have regional stability and regional security, inshallah. So these were some of the things I wanted to say about this topic, and I'm sure that you liked it, and if you like it, share it with your friends and family. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.